Greetings, my peeps. My name is John. I am a Druid in the Reformed Druids of North America. This is the YouTube Pagan Challenge video for week 9. Do you journal? Well, I'm paraphrasing. So, yes, I do. Pause this video and get your tea. It is time for tea. I think some people were feeling like they're missing out on tea time, so go ahead and pause this, and because I'm having tea. I don't know about you, as I almost knock over that mug. All right. So, well, of course you've unpaused it. I was about to say, did you unpause the videos? Well, yes, if you're watching this. Thank you for watching, by the way. My first journal actually was the first one that was relevant to this topic was my dream journal, and I kept that prolifically from 2001 until 2008 or thereabouts. Because like there's a point that it's like I misplaced it and it's gone. So that sucks. But the dreams, they really had, well, a lot of the important ones that I wrote down did have aspects of spirituality in them, and so I especially tried to remember those, and I actually would keep it next to my bed at night, and it's like I'd wake up and I would train myself. It's like if I wake up and remember a dream, write it down, because you have like 90 seconds before it can be completely gone, if that. And so that sometimes worked. Other times I didn't bother to turn the light on. For some reason I found that if I kept my eyes shut, I could hold on to that dream a little longer, like in my memory. And if I opened my eyes and if there was light, then that would just make it go away all the faster. It's a weird psychological element that kind of seemed to work for me. And there were times that I'd look at my journal in the morning. It's like I'd take up an entire page of this chicken scratch, and I actually have fairly decent handwriting, but when it's in the dark, or even if I had just woken up and I was trying to write down my ideas, it still looks like moon runes or something. But unfortunately I did fall out of that practice. I have been able to remember my dreams because I journaled them so prolifically. So I think that was something that really benefited me. In 2007, I started writing in this replica style American Civil War pocket journal, and so this one was for special, profound memories, both spiritual or mundane, and I wrote it with calligraphy pens and in very, very small print, and I filled it up over the course of 2007. And so this one, it's like if everything I own is destroyed in a fire, I actually have a digital version, digital scans backed up in multiple places. So this one is fairly safe from like complete destruction. Oh, tea. And so then 2008 was when I filled out this journal. This is one of the pens that I was using. It's calligraphy dip pen, and so it was really fun and kind of time consuming to fill out whole journals with that, but that's part of what made it special, I think. It took that extra effort. This one, on nice days, there was actually a spot not far from where I lived at the time that I'd go to a park, and there was, I don't remember what kind of tree it was, but it was this tree in a park that about 5 feet off the ground, there was this branch that was kind of like curved that I just wanted to go up there and lounge in it, and I had a tiny little inkwell that just the tip of the nib would get to the bottom of the inkwell, and so it was all I needed for an afternoon of writing in the tree. And so that was something that I actually wrote down in here so that I'd remember it in the future. And so this one did not come with me up into the tree. This was mostly at home because it was larger and not as easy to manage. But and so that one was 2008, and then I had a bit of a lapse. Actually, I did have a LiveJournal from 2004 to 2009 or 10 or something like that, but that was a lot more mundane. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't even know if I'd be able to find it anymore, but that had a lot of very introspective things. So not everything was spiritual per se. I remember one of them was an entry from in college. I was trying to help someone escape the fundamental Christian stalkers that they had, and that was that was a weird situation, but really adventurous, and so they were Christian as well, but they had these like extremist Christians that were just the wrong people. Like they were like the really bad Christians. But anyway, so yeah, I think I remember my last entry, maybe the second to the last entry, was one of those "I'm not dead" entries in 2009 or 10, and I'd have to do some digging to see if I could find it on the interwebs. So then I was more or less active on YouTube, and I used to have like 200 videos, and I've really kind of like called them back, and a lot of them had like copyrighted music on them, so I just removed them to behave, you know. And so it was more of a digital journal at that time, vlogging and montages. And then in 2012, I started writing in this contemporary fake leather journal, and for that one, I just used normal pen ink, and then early in 2012, I just abruptly stopped writing mid-sentence, and that is when I wasn't really putting this online, but I was getting it on my computer instead. And I was like, handwriting a journal is fun, and I'm thinking every time I'm writing this, it's like I want to get this stuff in a digital form. And so then one day I just switched over cold turkey like that. And so that brought me up to, in 2015, I created a Tumblr account to document my personal spiritual history and that of my Druid grove. And so that's a lot of pictures, musings, just walls of text, and actually I format it into paragraphs and whatnot. But that I still maintain, and it's and I started it last year, and then it took me until about I was almost caught up at Samhain, and then I don't think I really got caught up until like the end of the year, but then eventually, right now, we're just kind of at status quo, where as our grove does some things, and we should have some things coming up. As I'm the electric archdruid. Whoa, there's a thought. I'm the elected archdruid, and I should really like light a fire and pull everyone together. Though technically that's the job of the elected preceptor to arrange things, but we all share responsibilities anyway. But the last thing I wanted to say was that I haven't really done a lot of dream journaling, but there are times that I have such a profound dream, or just a really weird one. I had a really profound dream that I turned into a Druid ritual. And I also had a really, really bizarre one that it was so off the wall that it was like avant-garde, nothing makes sense, but here in it is like this heavy dose of sudden mysticism that I wasn't expecting to experience in a dream. And especially when it's a giant rodent telling you how to become invisible. Um, but the means to do that was entirely irrelevant, but all the more mystifying. And when I woke up, I was like, I gotta get this down right now. This is so ritual. No mention of the giant rodents. No mention of trying to escape people in a warehouse and by becoming invisible with this irrelevant mysticism. So that that's what I got, and the link to, I didn't even mention the name of my Tumblr blog. If you want to visit my Tumblr blog, the link will be in the about section, and otherwise you can just manually type it in. It's minnesotadruids.tumblr.com. I don't reblog specifically because there are so many like guilt trip posts that you see that of people that you follow. It's like, if you have a soul, you will reblog this, and so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna post my own original content and stuff that I know that I'm allowed to post. So, so yeah, everything on there is like mine, or I have permission from somebody that I interacted with to put it up there. So go and check that out, and or I mean, if you don't care to, then you don't have to, of course. Anyway. I totally forgot one thing. In my satchel that I carry to rituals, I have this little tiny journal that came with the satchel when I bought it, that was not listed on the product description, so it was a little freebie that was just inside it. And so it's like, it is almost identical to this Replica Civil War journal, but it's smaller. It's on a string instead of a leather strap, and the pattern on it it's stamped leather or embossed leather, and it's a Celtic knot pattern, and I thought, well, that is so cool and druidic and unexpected, and so it was great. And then I immediately knew what I wanted to do with this one, and let's see, how far have I filled this up? Not even a quarter of the way yet. The title is Haiku by Druids. I am a reformed druid. I write Zen haikus. So the title is a haiku. And that's one of the things, the Reformed Druids of North America has an established grove in Akita, Japan. So Zen haikus, I wouldn't call it cultural appropriation, because they added it to our literature, that they added a whole bunch of haikus to our established literature, and they're like, you should think of some more. So so this whole thing, I want to fill this with druidic themed haikus, and then with this, all of the entries I've written outside, so I keep a regular and so I keep this gel pen in my bag right next to my little awesome Celtic embossed notebook. So that is all I have. I am not adding any more to this video because it's like 12 minutes long before post-production. Thanks for watching. Bye.